Yes.
smoke some weed.
Exactly.
Like, I don't understand. Like, this is what black and brown children probably do. Like, not. Why do you guys get so angry? We don't like people at the school. We just either we jump them after school or we just go home. Like, we're not getting a gun and shooting up everybody in the class because Jimmy said that he didn't like me. Like, get
because some girl don't want to date little Timmy.
Date me.
And you know how white boys get, like, they get, not all of y'all, but some of y'all get pissed off when y'all don't get y'all way because that's the way society has groomed you. And they're thinking that everything is given to you, even when y'all don't know it. That's the story.
And even in those scenarios, the only other scenario I can think of is that Asian kid, the Virginia Tech kid, he was a little extra.
Yeah,
but
he was
even in New York, there was a Latinx kid in the Bronx, I think, who stabbed a student
because he was bullying him.
He was being bullied again, and that's what I was gonna say. It's not because he was like, "Oh, I hate everyone. I'm gonna come into school and shoot him up." Mm-hmm. He was being bullied, was tired of being bullied, and stabbed up this kid, and was like, he
tortured him for years because he was gay
to a point where I just could not take it, and I had to just inflict harm. Am I condoning it? No, but I'm enjoying the comparison that he targeted the one person who was attacking him, and it was inflicted, like harm that was inflicted on him, and he retaliated versus someone just telling him no, or someone saying some shit to him and him just shooting up the whole damn school.
Right, exactly.
And it's in the Bronx. He could have shot that whole shit up.
But
he was like, I'm just going to go to this one.
Right, and take this one person down who's been torturing me.
Who's been bothering me. And of course, the kid didn't intend to kill him either.
Right, exactly.
The child's intent was to hurt. It wasn't to kill.
But what was interesting was that he was so emotionally, I don't want to say broken, but it got to a point where he kind of blacked out.
He blacked out.
He blacked out, right. And so not to get off the topic, but this does go back to the Chappelle special because he's making a very valid point that when it comes to these school shootings and these drills that must be had, most likely 9 times out of 10, it's a young white male who's mad.
And
not a woman,
learning
a young white male.
Everything they're learning all the secrets.
Exactly. And what I will say to the audience is that Dave Chappelle has 2 other specials, Equanimity and the Bird Revelation or Bird Revolution.
Yeah.
I think it's Bird Revelation, and they are packaged together. And I would say watch those as well because he kind of does preliminary commentary on what Sticks and Stones is about, but there are points that are a little more specific to those specials.
Yeah.
Like one of the things he said in the Equanimity one or Bird Revelation, the second one, he said the only reason why we're talking about all of this when it comes to trans rights or whatever is because white people are making us talk about it, or because they're at the forefront. But like even within the conversation about trans rights, it's very rare that they talk about the black trans women, black and brown trans women who are being murdered. Reckless abandon. They don't talk about that. I mean, some do, like some publications, some media, but not most.
The conversation is about bathrooms and not about like preserving the welfare of people.
Yes. I mean, it's getting to a point where some trans women's deaths, if they're black or brown, specifically black, may not even get reported.
No,
so and he says that, like a lot of commentary. He talks about that, and I think that it's very good. I think people should see that one as well. Yeah, definitely.
I think I saw the other one before that.
Yes, the Hollywood Palladium or whatever. Yeah,
because when he was talking about like the bottom bitch in high school.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that one, and I thought that one was also very interesting.
Right. It was okay.
It was like reflective more than anything.
Yeah. Like he's learned a lot, and he wants to talk about that. But now, brother is back to his comedy.
Yeah,
and I bust the gut on all of them. So.
I thought that shit was funny.
Exactly. So adulting folks out there, if you are part of the groups of people that we're talking about and your feelings get easily hurt, maybe you should check that because
maybe,
there's people out there that's kind of bringing some interesting commentary about the way that we handle matters today. Mm-hmm. And I would recommend seeing your boy Chappelle show, or maybe not just him, but like even some other comedians out there that's on Netflix that are talking about these things in their own ways.
Yeah.
We need to be less sensy.
A little, just a little less sensy. I would say this joke that Rob-O-Matic said, but I'm not going to say it because
why is it? Can he only deliver it the right way?
Probably, but the way in which he says it is kind of mean. But then again, it's totally him, which is, he said this thing to me once. I think it had to do with a Dave Chappelle show joke. and he was talking about the alphabet people. And so Problematic says to me, he's like, you can take a dick, but you can't take a joke. Like, I don't understand that.
That's actually great.
And I quoted that. I put quotations around it. And I said, I'm going to I'm just going to put this in the bank. I'm going to bookmark this.
I co-sign.
Because I think this is apropos.
Yes, it is.
You can take a dick, but you can't take a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. And I feel like it's for everybody.
Yes, indeed.
It's for everyone.
Indeed.
It goes across the board.
Right. Right. I agree.
I feel like, absolutely. I feel like after I watched the Dave Chappelle special, my feelings on the subject really did not change much. Mm-hmm. Like I said, wincy moments, but at the end of the day, people aren't going to stop making those, quote, offensive jokes. People aren't going to stop making those jokes that might make you cringe. People are going to joke about pedophilia. People are going to joke about necrophilia. People are going to joke about racism, sexual abuse. People are going to joke about feminism or, the disparity between men and women. People are going to joke about all of those things.
Or satirize,
parody. They're going to do all those things. And I feel like it's up to us as adults and as individuals to know where our lane is.
Right.
And to be in that lane, drive in that lane. Right. If these things are jokes that you feel that I can't sit there and listen to a person joke about this, and this, then don't listen to it. Don't watch it. Stay away from it.
Right.
And I understand, that you're going to have the whole rebuttal of, well, I'm not going to know that they're going to talk about this joke until they actually say it. If this person has made this kind of joke 10, 15, 20 years ago, chances are they're going to make the joke again.
Exactly. And Brother Chappelle even said, he said, it's not that I don't dislike trans people. I just find that shit funny. Like, you wake up and don't feel like you belong in that body. He's like, so I like to joke about it. And that could be fucked up.
And it can be fucked up.
I get where he's coming from.
It's his lane.
Yeah, it's his lane, right.
And people are going to be like, he's not going to understand it or why it's bothersome.
He doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to.
Yeah,
he's not trans. He's not going to understand it. He's not going to he's not going to feel it is something that he has to accept. And that doesn't make him transphobic.
Right, exactly.
That just makes him a person with opinions saying, I just don't get it. And because he just doesn't get it, we can't fault him for not getting it. We can't force him to understand the trans experience.
Right.
You can't force him to do that. If he says, I just can't wrap my brain around it, can't wrap your brain around it.
Exactly. And that's an ongoing conversation. It takes decades, sometimes a generation before big things begin to change. I mean, if you look at the plight of black people and people of color in this country, black folks and other people of color and immigrants in this country, like, what makes you think that people are just going to wake up tomorrow and be able to accept
everything?
Like, the whole entire changes of language in which now you have to, change your pronouns. Like, these are things that have been ingrained in people's psyche and in culture and society for hundreds of years, if you will. And you can't just say, oh, well, now I'm gonna, Latinx.
I mean, look at the dictionary.
Yeah.
You know how long it took before the dictionary started adding like common vernacular into the dictionary?
Yes.
Like, come on. Shit takes time.
But don't you call somebody a wrong pronoun, because if so,
oh my goodness.
and so, I mean, and you want to address people the way they want to be addressed, but you also don't want to be, that dick that's like, oh, you called me he, and I go by they.
And that's the thing, and I know we're going slightly off topic, but
we're still on topic.
We're still on topic. Mm-hmm. That to me is an issue, because I feel like I understand, like, for me, I can't, and I won't ever, not to say I won't ever, but I can't at the moment understand the trans experience. Not to say that I don't respect trans people, not that I don't do my best to be respectful and sensitive to trans people. I work and I engage with trans folks often enough that if I see someone who comes in with a female sounding name and they give me something with a male sounding name on it, I am conscious enough to look them in the face and say, please let me know what pronoun, first off, what name would you like to prefer, would you prefer to go by, and what are your preferred pronouns?
Amen.
I'm conscious enough to do that.
I'll just say, with what you're saying, with the trans people and the trans experience, that's really the largest hurdle that you have to get.
Yes.
Trans people are relatively easy. That's all what you just said right now is good.
It's good.
Yeah. Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I acknowledge that,
yes.
but I also acknowledge that there are people at my job who they may see this person and say she or
yes.
whatever. And then the person feels like, oh, I'm so offended and I'm upset and this person's transphobic. And it's like, no, all you got to do is just educate them.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the conversation that I've had before. I'm like, we shouldn't immediately jump to they're phobic. They disrespect us. They don't take me seriously. And these are older folks. So
right.
you have to imagine that a person in their 60s and their 70s didn't have to deal with or didn't have to engage or see, or maybe in their society, in their community, they didn't, growing up, they didn't see this. This wasn't something
right.
that was around them. So
right.
again, teaching old dogs new tricks, it's hard for some people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's not them doing it willfully to be malicious.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just them having to browbeat it in, like remembering, just consistent, just memorizing.
Right.
And that was something for me, like me seeing it and me talking about it, me speaking to people of the community, or at the very least being around people who know people of the community, me seeing it on television, because again, they grew up in a world where 1950s, mom, dad, nuclear family was a mom and a dad, mom, dad, 2 kids, dog,
right.
white picket fence.
Right.
They're used to that.
Right.
I grew up in a world where it was like mom, dad, grandma, kid,
right.
aunt, uncle, godparent, mom and mom, dad and dad, catfish, lizards, snake.
Exactly.
Condo,
exactly.
NYCHA housing.
Right.
I grew up in that.
Right. Amen.
So
Amen.
I was, of that generation where I knew that things were changing. And so I was open to accepting that change.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so, again, like I said, I personally cannot 100% feel the trans experience or the trans community. I will never, because I'm not of trans. So I'm not going to ever walk that path as they do.
Right.
I can do my best to respect them.
Right. Yeah.
And I can do my best to accept them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm accepting, like, not that, and that's to say, like, hey, if I would not say, ew, that person's gross, or
right.
oh, that's so abnormal, and that's an abomination. Like, I'm not doing that at all.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I feel you.
But there are people who, they have to be taught. Like,
yes.
This is, and even if you think this is an abomination, guess what? This is how this person chooses to live their life, and just respect that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Just respect that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
And I tell people, if the Christian way is to turn the other cheek, turn the other
cheek.
Exactly.
Turn the other cheek,
turn the eye.
It's the truth.
If that is bothersome to you, turn your face. Turn the other cheek, turn away. It has nothing to do with you. It doesn't affect your life personally. It does not affect your pockets. It does not affect your home. It doesn't affect your marriage, your relationship with your children. So why should it bother you so much?
Right.
Let them live.
All right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Period. Exactly. Being gay is not a choice, and being a trans person, if you feel like you're in the wrong body, that's something that, you or I don't understand, because, as a gay man, or, if lesbians out there, they are who they are, but they still want to stay that gender. But if you are a trans person, if you are biologically or born male, but you feel like a woman, or vice versa, then, that is a unique thing. Very, very unique thing. Yeah. And I have had the opportunity to talk to people and get educated on that. And I'm very thankful for that. So like you were saying, to your point, it does take some educating, and it takes some listening. So it's a little bit of both. And that's part of the adulting thing.
Absolutely. And to bring it all back home, again, all of that has to do with knowing who you are and knowing your path. And again, if for you, comedy, Dave Chappelle's comedy is not for you, don't watch him. That's literally the moral of this story.
Exactly.
If you don't like Dave Chappelle, don't watch him. Don't listen to him.
Yes.
Throw away. If you want to cancel him, throw away your Chappelle Show DVD
yes,
sets.
Exactly.
Put them on Amazon. Someone will buy them. Get some money from them.
Right.
Don't burn them or anything like that. Sell them to someone and they will buy them.
Exactly.
Know your comedians. Know your audiences, or know your comedians who are for a specific audience.
Right.
And figure that out, because like I said, the only thing that's changed with Dave Chappelle is not his jokes, it's his audience.
Right.
So know which audience you belong in.
Right.
And for what comedian, and then live life that way.
Amen.